Hello members, and welcome to another weekly update after the market closed on 29th of March 2018. As always, see my other video when I talk about the overall market update. But on that note, let's just check in on the A50R because very interesting action. It was surprising how the market has almost sort of triggered the elastic band system again. It comes down through 30, and when it gets back up above 30 again, there's one trigger. And made some money on options there, and took a quick profit actually because it was options. But then again, it still hasn't sort of like followed through and got back on track yet. And interestingly, we had another trigger here, got below 30 and then back above 30. So very strange. The stock market has just been acting very weird for the last over a year since the bull market started. This perfect rise with no corrections, which is unhealthy, and then this bizarre lingering what we hope you hope is a correction rather than start off something weird like 1987, which is going to haunt me until this thing gets back on track, gets back above the 50-day and stops messing around. So if I look at the daily action there, I mean, it's still not convincing. We got more selling days than buying days, and even this big buying day in here was very close call on more almost like a distribution day had it got any worse. So a lot remains to be seen, and obviously that's going to affect the whether I open any trades or not, which I'm not going to. I can check in on existing ones though, and one, it's great to see when the market's in such trouble, stocks like this one doing, really just don't care, and that's always the mark of a strong stock. It's just not affected by what the overall market's doing. Here's one I gave a couple of weeks ago, and obviously it was just immaculate and irresistible. There's the line of support on a collision course with this rising 200-day. Bang! It just bounces off it if it gets a brick wall, and then powers higher. Looking at 50% gain on that one, just on the stock alone already. DQ was another one. And that's still kind of in the buy zone again this week. There's the line of support on it into collision course with a rise moving average, and still kind of in the buying zone. I gave a good entry point for that one, so that's on. Currencies, pounds just keeps pushing higher. This is obviously the entry point was down here, and that's still in the uptrend. What's interesting about the pound and the euro and everything else is considered a risk on trade. Money would fly to the dollar if things were really looking bad. And there's the euro, and there's the dollar. The chart for the dollar just still looks like hell. So if there's so much fear out there, why is what customarily happens is money flocks for safety to cash, and dollars are cash in the case of the stock market. So that hasn't happened, which is a bit of an anomaly in favour of the bull camp. Very interesting. Gold was looking like it was taking a bit of a correction this week, but sort of stabilised towards the end, caught in this pocket of support and resistance right here. And actually what I said was, if you recall last time, that this is a entry point around here. It was right on the line of support, and I gave that pick on I was saying that's where it was on what date was that? Something like around here, I said, and then you can see it rose and then corrected a little bit, but that is a clear line of support for doing those short-term trades when you see a solid line of support like that. Oil is being a good performer. There was that line I was looking to get in after the big pullback on the weekly chart. It's bouncing around, holding the high ground nicely. So that's more of a sort of slow burning long-term one, as is FCEL. And that's right on the line. The one that triggered this was the weekly chart. I'm looking at the weekly chart for FCEL. Because it's such a slow burning long term, and that's what it's respected most, the 40-week. And this week it closed just right on it, so that's sort of good long term penny stock there with a tight stop loss ongoing as I've been covering. The other ones that are still open are because they haven't really been misbehaving much is ANSS. That was in down there about 120. It's still an uptrend around 156, hanging in there well. We've got Tile. Yeah, was the entry point in that one way down there, and it's just pushing along nicely and easily up a long way there. We've got IMMU. That was the entry point on that one. You know, as long as these stocks sort of stay above the 200-day, you know, it's good to just let them ride, because these things could just keep going up and up. And it's not undue to have a bit of if the market's having a rough time for these individual stocks too as well. I think it's important it hangs on to this bit of support here though, and doesn't go much down that. What else we got? We've got RD&T. We've already looked at that. So I think that's all good for now, and it's very much a sort of, you know, wait and see still on the overall market. Keep the stops tight, and very much sort of watch this space, and speak to you next time.